Hello, and thank you for meeting with us today. We are CMS Diagnostic Clinical Laboratory. To help you get to know our lab a little bit better, we would like to start with our agenda. Today, we will be talking about our lab demographic, our mission and vision statement, as well as our accrediting agencies. We then will take you through our laboratory information system and our test menu, as well as procedural manual. Lastly, you'll get to know us a little bit better by getting a better understanding of our personnel flowchart and policies, our competency assessments, and most importantly, our safety plan.
CMS Diagnostic is a freestanding, high-complexity clinical lab located in Dallas, Texas. We are open 7 days a week with hours varying from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. We offer a large test menu that includes services from our chemistry, microbiology, immunology, and hematology labs. We serve patients of all age groups and a variety of local providers. Our mission at CMS Diagnostic is to provide accurate, timely, and precise results. We strive to meet the needs of our community with the advancement of medicine. With our devotion towards excellence, our staff is pushed to provide consistent and accurate test results. Our vision is to be the standard of professionalism while exceeding the expectations of the medical and local community by providing exceptional turnaround times and test results. CMS Diagnostic operates within the regulatory requirements accreditation standards of CLIA. The American Association of Bioanalysts is the agency that we will use for our proficiency testing within our lab.
The laboratory information system that CMS Diagnostics uses is Lab Collector. It is described as an all-in-one lab and notebook software that is built around independent modules that interact together. There are several reasons why this LIS works well for our lab. They have a barcoding system that allows for easier tracking and organization of lab specimens. They also have security features that allow us to have different levels of users to ensure that only certain individuals have access to important patient information or can change data in the system. Also, there is extensive monitoring of those using Lab Collector. It is also customizable so that we can shape the LIS to best fit the design of our lab instead of a one-size-fits-all system. This is easy to do for our lab due to Lab Collector's easy-to-use interface. Lastly, with the extensive support that comes along with this LIS, there are several different ways to train and help individuals in the lab with the learning of the LIS through webinars, online, and in-person help. This is our test menu. It consists of a variety of tests that are performed in our hematology, chemistry, microbiology, and immunology labs. We have turnaround times that range from less than 24 hours to as long as 10 days, depending on the type of test. Our liver, renal, and comprehensive metabolic panels are less than 24 hours, while Western blot testing for Lyme disease can take up to 5 to 10 days. This is an example of a standard operating procedure from our procedural manual. The example here is for an aerobic culture procedure. In all procedures, we include the proper directions, precautions, and background information for each test. We want to make sure our employees have extensive information for the procedures they are performing in our labs. We also include the material safety data sheets with our SOPs to ensure that our employees know the safety information and are aware of any hazards involving each procedure. Safety is always our number one priority. Here is a link to the MSDS information for the aerobic culture SOP if you would like to review it. This is our personnel flowchart for our lab. You can see here that while our flowchart includes logistics and data management, on this particular flowchart we are focusing more on the lab personnel. As you can see, we have 2 lab managers along with supervisors for each corresponding lab department. We also have more personnel in our micro and immunology labs to meet current demands for testing in these areas.
With over 25 laboratory technicians and additional supporting staff, it's extremely important that CMS Diagnostic stay up to date on personnel policies, Today, we'll be sharing two of our policies with you. The first, continuing education, and the second, our training policy. The CMS Diagnostic continuing education policy is that all employees must meet a minimum of 12 PACE-approved continuing education credits per year. By completing these continuing education credits, CMS Diagnostic is guaranteeing that our employees are the most up-to-date on current topics within the laboratory science field, laboratory techniques, and the healthcare field. The CMS Diagnostic training policy is that upon hiring, all employees are required to review the policy and procedural documents for the area of the lab in which they will be working. We hold 3-month, 6-month, and then yearly evaluations to make sure that standards are being upheld and understood. In addition to yearly evaluations, CMS Diagnostic also holds competency assessments. These assessments are used to ensure that laboratory personnel are performing laboratory procedures accurately, precisely, and are meeting federal regulations. CMS Diagnostic goes above and beyond, making sure that competencies are completed at the 90-day, 6-month, and then the yearly mark for new employees. We continue to go above and beyond by holding competencies annually after the 1-year mark. At CMS Diagnostic, safety comes first. CMS Diagnostic defines an emergency as any incident where harm is done to oneself, others, or to the property of CMS Diagnostic. All incidences must be reported and documented within 24 hours of occurrence. At CMS Diagnostic, our safety plan begins first at orientation and then on a yearly basis for all employees. Additionally, we hold QA and safety meetings on a monthly basis, as well as do self-inspections within a 6-month period. Before we close today, I'd like to leave you with a few highlights of CMS Diagnostic. We are a freestanding, high-complexity clinical lab with large test menu. We are dedicated to the treatment of the outpatient community. We are accredited by CLIA and use a highly rated laboratory information system. Lastly, we are a highly trained staff with quality SOPs. Thank you for coming today, and we hope that you choose CMS Diagnostic for all of your clinical laboratory needs in Dallas, Texas.